Hey guys, so we are back for part 2 of our little experimenting tutorial. So we are going to use our alcohol markers again, and we are going to, so let me get my spice situated here. We are going to choose some random colors, get some on this paper. I'm going to do some bigger dots, just kind of random, so I'm using the bigger side. I'm just going to jump right in, basically. I just want to fill in like we did on the other. I probably don't even need this big of an area, but we are just rolling. And I'm choosing whatever side I open. I'm not paying attention to whatever side is down. I'm not even really making the flower shapes. I'm just making dots. I decided we're going to try to streamline it a little bit by not making it so detailed. And so just trying to get color in here so we can get to doing our resin side. Like I said, just complete random. I just got blue on me. Let's get some green in here. And green, I might try to just fill in a little bit of the areas that aren't colored. Granted, we're going to add a little bit more color to this, so I'm not filling all the way, but definitely getting some green in here. And we'll probably grab another green anyway. Just complete random. I put my dogs up today because I was like, we are not going to be distracted by them. Now, I still may get interrupted by a kiddo, but you know, you can only do so much. Let's do this vivid pink. I should get a yellow in here too. Yeah, it's looking good. Looking good. Going much faster, but you know, that's how you kind of learn. Like, the detail that I put into the other probably doesn't matter for the abstractness that we're going for on this project, so not overly stressing about it, I guess is what we're saying. This is like a yellowy green, so just filling in some space with it. I'm going to look at another green in here probably. I'll actually do some purple. Yeah, it's looking good. Liking it. Put a little bit more in here. Okay, let's see. Oh, the number's upside down. Okay, let's get a vivid green in here. Trying to not make it a straight line there. Trying to blend in a little bit. This one's probably going to definitely have a little bit more white than the other, but that's okay. Okay, so that worked out pretty good. Let's get us some UV resin earrings, right? Right. I was like, I literally had this, and now we got that. I knocked it on the floor. Okay, so this is that same mold. I'm going to use the same shape so that we can get the same feel for it. Just using some masking tape. Clear that out. And then going to fill these up as, oops, pay attention to what I'm doing. Fill these up pretty much as far as they will go. Definitely getting around the hole for the earring hardware. And this one's got some bubbles, so I'll have to do some popping. And that's just fine. So silicone brush so that we don't damage our mold. There's a big bubble behind that and would have created a really major dip on it if we didn't get it out. So good news is it came right up and out. There's still a small one down in there. Let's see if it can come to the surface. Come on up, please. Come on down to be popped. Alright. Little lighting action. And I still got one or two bubbles here. Bring it to the surface, and then I think that'll be good. Come on. There we go. Okay. Now I think if I just get that little bit of resin in there, we should be good. And we can go ahead and slide that on under. Ooh, I left this sticky the last time. Did not clean it apparently. So, a little rubbing alcohol. Now this is actually 99%. That label says 91, but I order it from Amazon at 99, and I use that equate bottle. I know if you've watched my episodes, you're probably tired of hearing that, but in case somebody new is joining and hasn't heard that. So that UV resin that was on here was still tacky just because it hadn't been cured under the light, but it was definitely starting to cure just from natural light in the room, but it was definitely sticky. But the nice thing about a silicone brush is that you just clean it with some rubbing alcohol and you're ready to go again. So we do have, recap, we have our Litz Resin UV lamp. It's the dual lamp, top and bottom, which I don't think the bottom is lit right now, so I'll have to make sure that my things are lined up. There it goes, the bottom's now on. And we're using the UV high viscosity UV resin for it. So we'll let those cure for the 2 minutes. Last video you watched, I did actually time this, and it is 2 minutes. It just always feels like forever in a moon because we're impatiently waiting for it to get done. Like, come on. So that's what's happening. So yeah, just wait for that to cure up, and then we can cut out our shapes. Oh, that's why that pin was over here. I did have a pin. There it is. I was like, why do I have a pin in my space? That's why. Alright, so these are solid. They're a smidge warm, but that's okay. This one didn't get as full as maybe I would have liked it, but we're gonna cruise with it. I'll probably use the other one to do our basis off of it. This one got a little bit fuller. And I'm just kind of cleaning off these little stringy pieces. You do want to be careful, fingerprints can happen, but I'm not really worried because we're adding this color to it, and it's going to be so much that you're just not going to even see it. So, okay. So, I go like this, and like this. Just trace around it, and then we'll cut a little bit on the inside to bring that out, essentially. And the way this one is, I'm going to go ahead and keep it at that same angle. Just lining up our one edge so that we have, I'll still have to cut it, but it won't be as drastic, basically. I just try to limit our cuts if we can, and I can't hold this in place and get around it. There we go. And it doesn't have to be like 100% perfect, okay? Get as close as you can, roll with it. Alright, so we're gonna cut this out. And like I said, I'm just going to go on kind of the inside of our pin mark as best as possible. And I use the one edge of the paper as part of my edging. And then you could always, you know, choose a little bit more like where you want the placement on here. I didn't really choose that because anyway it's gonna kind of be abstract, and so I wasn't like worried about, oh, making sure that this dot was right here and, you know, that type of thing. So wasn't overly worried. This one still has a little bit of the pin marking, so I'm just gonna shave like a smidge off of it. That's all. And then we'll cut this one. Okay. And we'll have plenty of this paper left over to use. And this is just the copy paper. This is just your standard paper that you'd put in a printer or a copier. So nothing fancy. Just your everyday today copy paper. So just trying the difference is to see what we end up with. So I like those two together, and I think these two together, so that's perfect. So we're going to use this just to give us some basis, basically. Yeah, something to work with on here. And we're going to put a very thin layer on to our backing. This one I'm doing a little bit thicker than this one just because it had more, or needed to fill with more resin. So just wanted to use that a little bit more. So then we're going to stick these on. This is where gloves or little finger cots would probably be very beneficial, but I also find that they can be hindersome for me, getting in my way, so I'm kind of just winging it per se. But definitely, if you don't want to risk getting resin on you, I would put some protective gear. And I'm just using my silicone tool to push that down, and then right under the lamp. 2 minutes, and then we will do our little rub off to see if that helps it at all. I don't know, because that paper's so thin, it really may absorb the UV resin a lot more. It may not rub off really. And then these ones, we will put them into the fresh resin in the mold, just like we did the others, so that we can see the difference. So I'm going to make us some labels again for our bags so that we have those. Marker, resin. Oh, my writing is terrible on this. Hardened first. Rubbed off. And then marker added to resin. I didn't put as much detail because we kind of get the gist of what we're doing. We kind of get it. We know what's up. We know what's happening. They're pretty. These colors are really pretty. I wonder how they'll compare vibrant wise compared to the thicker paper. I am curious. Oh, come on. You're done, I'm sure. You're going to turn off any second. I'm just ready for you to turn off. So probably once we get through this series, like I said, it's probably going to be a 6 or 7 episode series. So once we get done with it, then we will look to probably do some pouring of resin. So the weather is finally getting nice enough here. Okay, so I have a little bit of water here. I don't need a ton, so I'm just going to wet my paper towel and then wet the back of these. And let's see, definitely made these colors brighter. It's taking like an ever so thin maybe layer off. There's some hardened resin on there. Let's just go ahead and rub it and see. Like, we can't hurt it, right? It's an experiment. You don't know what you're gonna get. Don't know until you try. That's what we say. Is it really pretty? We're getting stuck up down here. Let's keep peeling on off of here. We got a big old piece that I'm gonna have to cut off of the edge here. It's a lip. There we go. Got it with my fingers. Okay. Just had to work it enough. I think those are relatively dry. I'm going to probably blast them with a little bit of heat. We do not want any moisture stuck between them and the paper and the resin, because that will just cause more issues for us and we don't want. So just a quick blast of the heat gun. I didn't use much water, so really they're not overly wet. You hear me speaking funny. I was plugging that in and bending over. So just gonna give them a light, you know, a little bit of heat. Just on low, nothing crazy. Yeah. I think that's gonna be pretty good. I don't want to go too warm and start messing with the resin too much, but definitely I think that's good. Alright, so thin coat helps if you take your lid off. So just a thin coat to basically dome these up is what we want. This one's definitely going to need some cleanup. It's got some things that happen in there for sure on the edges, but that's okay. Nothing a little Dremel won't cure. Alrighty, pop those back in. Eek, eek, eek. I wish I had this mold a second time over, and I think it's one of the few that I don't have a duplicate of. I was gonna say, if I had a duplicate, I would just start the next ones, but it's okay. better to slow and steady, slow and steady, slow and steady. We'll just keep working it. I mean, it is only 2 minutes, so. And then we'll get the other end and going, and we'll see what we like. And then next week will be another episode, very similar, us experimenting. We are going to use the same papers, and we are going to use a different medium though. We are going to try paint markers and see how acrylic paint markers work with this same concept and process, just to see that side of things. And then the following week we will do one last experiment with a different medium, just to see how it works and reacts, and then we will put these earrings all together and decide which ones are our favorite. So actually then that, that'll probably take us, it depends on how quick these kind of go. We'll see. I may try to get the next couple episodes kind of longer-ish episodes, but that have both types of paper maybe. We'll see. Just have to see kind of how it goes type thing. And then we can play around. That's kind of my thought. So it may still take like 6 or 7 for it, but I'll see if I can cut it down a little. Okay, so bring this close and let it focus. We did end up with a big bubble on this one. Doesn't surprise me because there was such a cavity in it before I put it in. I do like the colors on these. So I think the colors are maybe a little bit more vibrant when we do it that way. To me, this is maybe a little bit more, definitely a little bit more pastel look and very vibrant. So that's good to know. Like if you're going for that pastel look, or if you're going for the super bright, vibrant look, which way you want to go. Okay, so let's go ahead and get these rolling because we want to keep cruising. I'm not trying to rush. I don't have anywhere to be, but I also know y'all's time is precious as well. And so, you know, watching a really long video of me crafting potentially takes away from you being able to craft. So, we got some pretty big bubbles in this right one again. You know, we just like to pop some bubbles up here. Let's get you out. And I sort of, kind of almost overfilled this. So I'm going to use one of my handy dandy silicone cups and just take a little layer off. It's fine. We'll use it, just need to take an ever so little bit off of these. Now I see a bubble in here. Come on, bubble, bubble. Come on, come on. You can't stay there. Thank you very much. Alright, that looks so much better. So, pop you, and then there's one. Did you come out? I think you might have came out. Okay. So these, if you recall, we just go ahead and put right into the resin. No curing first, just pop them right in. And going ahead, there is some overflow up here at the top, so I'm just taking that resin and bringing it over the top of our piece to let that start getting the back evened in a little bit. But I want that top to lay as flat as possible. Which side did I color this side? Okay. I believe. Well, is what it is now. Pretty sure this is the back side. Those alcohol markers are so bright that I'm really sure which side. I feel like this one might try to go a little haywire on us and have a big old bubble. Just because of the way this paper is thinking. I should have trimmed it just a smidge. That's okay. It's a too late a now, and that's okay. We're gonna make it work. So you see this top is trying to pop up and out, and then when I push it down, this back is trying to pop in and out. It's almost like a floaty that's like trying to curl. I need you to just stay like right there. So what I'm gonna probably do is just like hold this for just a smidge with my silicone brush, just to make sure it stays somewhat in place. And I should be able to, once it cures enough, just to pull my brush out of there. It left a big old glob, but it's thin enough, it should just pop off when I take those out. So, like, it should just be a little extra piece. Which, what did I do with my scissors? So there is a little bit of a lip on this one. We can just take our scissors and pop that right on off by cutting it. And then we can take our Dremel. Be really careful when you're doing this, because you do not want to slice thy finger. Nobody has time for an ER visit. Okay? That's not on my bingo card this year. Just a saying. Just not on my bingo card. I don't know if I told that to you guys last week or not, but I had a customer in my full-time job tell me that. They were like, yeah, that's really not on my bingo card this year, so I'm going to try to avoid that. And I was like, I really love that. One, because it's so whimsical and funny, but two, my mom loved playing bingo, and so it makes me think of something she would say and be like, oh, it wasn't on my bingo card. I'm like, yep, that's pretty funny. Pretty hilarious. I told him, I said, I'm going to use it, just so you know, I'm going to use that. And I've used it a few times now. Like, not on my bingo card this year. Not going to happen. I don't want to fill that spot. So these are probably pretty close. Yeah. Let's see, there our light went off. So there's that little extra piece. I don't know if you can see it on camera just because it is clear. But it just a little bit of encouragement, it came right on off. Now, these are close to done because we did dip those in. But they need just a smidge layer. And I don't know if this cured because it might have. Nope, we're good. I left it in kind of the way of the light, so it could have gotten really tacky, but it didn't. So we're going to just use that to fill that one in and do this one to fill that one in. I do like these. These are really pretty. They're fun. Springy. Good time. So we'll see what they look like when they come out. We get to site. Let me get a couple baggies. See, I feel like this video went a lot faster. I don't know if it's because I just kind of knew what I was going to do. Or maybe it just felt faster. I don't know. Maybe my time was just so much fun. It just blew past. I haven't looked at my clock to see. I'm sure it's faster though. Oh yeah, this one's only 30 minutes so far, so we definitely ahead by probably 10, 15 minutes maybe. So I hope I can read my own writing. I'm like looking at that like, I'm going to go ahead and clean my little tool. This still has some rubbing alcohol in it. This was from last video. It's just got some cured UV resin in it. Truthfully, the easiest thing for this, where it's just so minor, I say it's cured, it's actually a little tacky when I pulled it out of there, is to take a piece of tape. You can use packing, you can use masking, you can use scotch, whatever. It just picks up those little pieces, and that is the easiest way to clean those little small. And then you could use, you know, a little bit of rubbing alcohol to finish cleaning it, but that's really clean. So, oh, I'll stand up so that I can show y'all these when these come out, so we can see what we have, because I'm excited. Okay. Ooh, look at how pretty those are. They're so vibrant. Way more vibrant than those others. So definitely going to have some cleanup. And that's to be expected. A lot of times you can just get kind of an edge started and be able to get it. But honestly, this with a little bit of scissors, see? Oh yeah. Look at that. It's so bright. I actually really like this. I like that a lot. It's so colorful. So this was while the resin was wet on that thick paper. So you definitely couldn't use the back on these. You would have to use the front side. And they were definitely more muted than this is, I would say. Maybe not as bad as I was thinking. But we ended up with a lot more bubbles too on this one than we did this one. We'll see how this other one pops out. Let's keep these separate and then I'll show them up close here in a minute. Look at all that extra resin here. Oh, this was our troublemaker. He decided to get a bubble up here. Not much you can do about it. It is what it be. Our paper did extend over a little bit because he shifted on us. But I think still got plenty of color in him. It's very neon. I bet you would like glow under a glow light or a black light. Okay, so dipped in resin. I do think I like the copy paper better for this kind of look. Okay, don't mind my blue mark. Here is into the resin. Here is rubbed off the back a little bit. Obviously, copy paper is much thinner, so you're not going to get a ton rubbed off. Definitely brighter in color than this one being in the resin, and this one, even the back side of these, you can tell it was rubbed off, more muted pastel colors, but a ton of fun. So hope you enjoyed. I know that was a little bit shorter of a video in a sense, but yeah, we are experimenting, and I will be back soon and we'll do another medium. We'll do those acrylic markers is the next one. We'll try on both types of paper, both styles. I might switch up our mold, but I kind of am like, I want to keep everything consistent, so probably will keep the same mold, just so that we're consistent across the board. But we'll see you guys again soon. Hope everybody's doing well and have a wonderful one.